Alright, so you want to see this video. We got just so much new leaked info before the trailer even arrived. I'm Battlefield Central, and if you want more content like this, be sure to drop a like and a comment. It helps me out a lot, and it helps a lot to the others that haven't seen this video yet. So be sure to watch the whole video, because this is a lot of information for Battlefield 6 we haven't heard yet. There is a huge information on the gameplay, on the map, the whole Battlefield 6 games, but Tom Henderson actually did reply to it, and I'm gonna be reading the whole leak later on. Just read the Reddit leak for Battlefield. For example, if you're a US team, you could choose a US, Australian, British, French, Japanese, or German soldier. That was what was quoted in the leak. But this is not correct. Tom Henderson is denying that. He's not denying the whole leak. You're a group of individuals from Fallen Nation. So in theory, a Japanese soldier could fight for both the USA and Russia. And I find that really exciting, to be honest. But then again, I find everything about Battlefield 6 really exciting, so this is pretty good news. Also, there's more information on the teasers because, of course, we haven't been getting anything huge. Yes, we have been getting teasers, but not actual teasers like the official ones that are, for example, a short GIF or a 3-second trailer. Are there any teasers that will drop before the trailer, or is it just the trailer? We should get teasers. We're probably a week or two away, and this is what really keeps me excited. A week or two away from the actual reveal, so we should be getting teasers in a few days, I'm guessing. This is what I really want to see, to be honest. Like a few new teasers, just a short GIF is enough. DICE and EA should both post that and actually show us what is up with Battlefield 6. Just a simple tweet would keep me hyped up for the big reveal that's probably happening on the 2nd of May or a bit later, and for the big investor call I'm really excited to hear about. Also, the campaign, this is gonna disappoint some people, this is gonna make some people really happy. Are you talking about the solo campaign, so you think EA would work on different scenarios? Seems like a lot of work to pay from EA, right? I've not heard there's a campaign, so Tom Henderson not get any sources that there will be a campaign in Battlefield 6, and this kind of concerns me. A lot of people were excited for campaign, but if campaign is not made or is not being developed, then they can focus that energy into other aspects, such as Battle Royale, multiplayer, and so on. But I originally heard it was actually the plot, and it seems like the plot is with the Fallen Nations, USA versus Russia. It definitely does make sense. Seems like it will kind of be more of emphasis like Warzone. Warzone, yes, it does have a campaign, or Modern Warfare does have a campaign, not that specific. It's not, you don't remember the campaign as much as you remember a Warzone being big, right? Battle Royale, all the resources into that. Good day all. I have recently received some information regarding the next Battlefield title for privacy that it's being posted on a burner account. It does make sense. You don't want to leak your information to everyone. My source was working with one of the support teams for Battlefield 6, but they left a few months ago. Take this info with a grain of salt, and as always, it has been a few months since they left, but I believe this info is correct. First of all, the next Battlefield title will be indeed called Battlefield. This is, I'm told, to distance the franchise from Battlefield 5 and its reputation. Definitely does make sense, because Battlefield 5 did not have a great reputation. It does make sense that you want to kind of follow the steps of Warzone, title it around that. It will be indeed modern and feature up to 128 players. I was told to expect it on PC, Xbox Series X, and PS5, and it seems like these three consoles, I mean these two consoles and the PC are confirmed, and the previous gen consoles are not yet confirmed or were in the works and are now scrapped, which I'll get into later on. Now, my source also told me that Tom is mostly correct, which adds more credibility to Tom that he already has, and I feel like Tom is correct on the most stuff. When I asked them what Tom did not get correct, they said that the whole mercenaries idea was a bit misleading. Instead of Modern Warfare 2019 like factions, mercenary groups, the main factions would still be Russia and the US, or there would be nation select system where you could choose to represent and play as a nation that was aligned with the two superpowers. For example, if you were in the US team, you could choose a US, Australian, British, French, or Japanese or German soldier, and Tom Henderson is saying that this is not correct. He told me that this was to increase the vehicle customization options as well as weapon and the vehicle rosters. The change would be purely cosmetic, but give players an opportunity to play as their preferred Army Special Forces soldier. I feel that is a great idea that it's purely cosmetic. However, what I really don't like about Warzone is how the black skins or the darker ones actually do give you a fair advantage when you can't spot an enemy in a house or something like that, and then the enemy has a huge advantage and wins every single game for paying those $5-10 extra. And the next thing I want to talk about is vehicles in Battlefield are going to be similar to their Battlefield 5 counterparts. Attrition is coming back, which we do have more proof on that later, which I will give my own theory. At least for vehicles. The spawn system, however, will revert back to Battlefield 4 style due to the balancing issues that the Battlefield 5 spawn system caused. The vehicle tech tree will also return, but it will be large. Think Battlefield 5 War in Pacific vehicle tech 3 size. I want to see that. If you want to make something, you better make it good. And I believe in DICE making such a thing, if this is true. Vehicle advancement will be class-based instead of type-based due to the large amount of vehicles in the game. He never specified how many vehicles we're going to be seeing, but it's a very, very possible that this is going to be the largest vehicle selection so far we have. The maps are going to be uniquely large and quite large and truly unlike anything you've ever seen before, and this got me really excited when I read it for the first time. My sources relayed to me that DICE was looking at 10 to 12 maps at launch, and this is really good. When we usually got maps, it was only like 6 maps, I think, and even those maps weren't that fun. Half of them in Battlefield 5 weren't even played that much because you were playing other maps instead that were much more fun, and with 10 to 12 maps, you have 10 to 12 different scenarios with gameplay, with detail and story, beautiful story. The maps tell a lot of perspectives, a lot of culture as well, but going back to that, what we really want to hear is about the evolution. All the 10 to 12 maps will have some type of evolution, and 2 to 3 conquest size maps every 2 or so months, which definitely makes sense because there are 3 studios working on this, especially on the post-launch content. The primary game mode will be yet again an operations variant, which is natural evolution of Battlefield 5's Grand Operations mode. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people want to play that. The weather effect that Tom has been talking about will be on every launch map. Whoa, okay. Similar to Battlefield 4's evolution. A bit more evolution later on, but however, these events are designed to change gameplay rather than simply for spectacle. And an example of this would be a wildfire on a map set in the Urals. In the Urals? Okay, interesting. After the fire has been burned, the map or a part of the map as weather evolution is very dynamic. Longer sight lines would open up, but the ground would camouflage anyone wearing dark brown black. The heat from the ground would really mess with the thermal sights. I don't know how to feel about that. I believe the thermal sights thing, but I don't know how many people use thermal sights. Maybe in Battlefield 6 when it's dark, sure, but overall I don't see a lot of people using thermal sights in lobbies, but instead normal sights. Now dark brown black, why should they have an advantage over other players who are wearing red, for example? I am not sure, and I feel like they will kind of change that, but longer sightlines would open up is what I want to see, especially for snipers, or I can snipe them. This is all I can remember. I'll try to answer the questions in the comments, and he gave so many questions away. It's so good. Now the top comments, let's start with the most important comments and also the small ones. Would you DM any evidence to have the mods about this? I do hope the spawn system for vehicle is pre-Battlefield 1, but that would not work for modern near future and barely worked for World War II. Honestly, the vehicles need to go back to some sort of Battlefield 4 system where customization is interesting and not with a skill tree system. Battlefield 4 is ultimately a system that sounded like there's a lot of choice, but there's basically very little, and there's a lot of speculation going on with this, a lot of theories on what's gonna happen, but we did get more answers. Are the natural catastrophes like wildfire gonna be scripted or will spawn at a random point of the map? So for example, just like evolution, possibly coming from different directions. It would come from different directions, and this definitely gives me the firestorm vibes, especially if the fire will come from all areas. It will actually draw the snipers out to my location where you can have a huge clash, especially with tanks, vehicles, helicopters, and so on. Fire is good. Fire is really good. One more question. Is any of the robot stuff true? And this is what keeps a lot of people really excited, a lot of people worried, especially the drones. It is true. It was rather confusing the way he explained it. I'll try and follow that up, and I don't think he did. So attrition is back for vehicles. Does that mean repair stations will be a thing? Does that also imply attrition is gone for infantry? Repair stations will return. My source wasn't sure about attrition for infantry, and maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. I hope not, actually, but even if we do see it, I feel like the game is gonna be still great. I'm really excited to see this Battlefield. How did your source feel about when they saw the whole? And emotions tell you a lot of the story and a lot of the response. We all remember how the emotions got mixed with Battlefield 5 reveal trailer. I am excited, as was my source. They were concerned a bit for the large jump from Battlefield 5 because it's gonna be a much bigger game with many more studios, but they were all confident in DICE, and I feel like a lot of people are confident in DICE. The only people that are not confident with DICE do not believe in DICE anymore because of Battlefield 5. So it's not like I really do feel like the DICE is gonna be bringing a good game, especially with EA heavily backing this game. This is a really good information. How did your source give you this information? In person or electronic media? And it seems like he did not give any replies to protect his privacy. I hated Battlefield vehicles so much I didn't even buy Battlefield 5. Can someone explain to me what they mean vehicle system will be the same? Repair stations for vehicles and vehicles spawn on map points, it looks like. I want to spawn my vehicles on map points. I want to do that because it kind of adds a bit more of a conquest type of thing, a bit more tactical. This is what I want to see really. Anything on gun customization? Yup, I'm sorry I forgot to add this. It would be like Battlefield 4 on steroids, and this is something Tom Henderson has been talking about for the Revolution. It will be much more advanced, many more gun customizations. And is it similar to Modern Warfare 2019? You could argue that. Okay, that would be very interesting. I am really excited about that, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, but how will it different from Modern Warfare 2019? We still do not know. But as long as it's good weapon customizations, I want to see that. Will Japan be the next major location as implied by Tom Henderson's leaks, like how Battlefield 3 took place mostly in Iran and 4 in China with a handful of other countries in the mix? Or will the time be more international with all the maps taking place in different locations around the world? And he said TMK, it will be more international. If I may ask another question, what city do we get to destroy this time? Tokyo, by any chance? Ooh, yeah, Tokyo would be simply perfect. It's been my guess for a while. I see a lot of comments about the Siege of Shanghai's spiritual successor and heard that one again before in the leak. Think it was Tom Henderson's again. This map idea was mentioned many times. To my knowledge, a leak in December 2019 brought it up before Tom, which I have covered. The city was not confirmed to be anything but rumors that it could be Seoul, Taipei, Osaka, Tokyo, or Ho Chi Minh City. And I really do hope I spelled that correctly, but sounds quite promising. We'll find out soon enough. Either way, we're probably gonna see some cyberpunkish cityscapes getting destroyed. This really keeps me excited. Now we get a bit more controversial. I'm gonna ask this because I know at least few people who will see this will wonder. Taking one for the team here. Woman soldiers, yes or no? Agenda pushing, any comment? Customization in general. From what I'm reading, it sounds like Wargame Red Dragon. Feels like essentially NATO versus Warsaw Pact, and you can have Aussies and Marines fighting alongside each, but it's more futuristic. Have you or your sources seen anything that's a little out there? The helmets and Tom Henderson linked to this tweet about wacky cosmetics really aren't wacky enough, just new tech. Hate to bombard with questions, but again, taking one for the team. Yes, there are gonna be females. Some climate change is a real issue in the game. I don't know how to feel about that. He's teasing us something. I honestly have no idea what he meant by that, but honestly we'll see in the real trailer. Nothing too out there. Perhaps some boundary pushing items that wouldn't fit in the sum of the maps, but don't expect Modern Warfare cat girls. And this is like Modern Warfare cat girls really do break immersion, don't they? Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see real tactical immersion, but I also want to see a cool emblem. I'm very strict with what I want to see in the next Battlefield game, but overall my expectations are quite high for what we will see for Battlefield, but they have a lot of work put into Battlefield and a lot of content, a lot of leaks, a lot of big hype. Could you explain the distinction between vehicles being class-based as opposed to type-based for my smooth brain? Of course, class-based means that progression would go to the class of vehicles like Battlefield 4. Type-based, to my understanding, would be like Battlefield 5, where progression only goes to the vehicles that you are in. I don't know, I really like class-based, to be honest, as I was talking before, but type-based doesn't seem that bad, but you really have to play every single vehicle you want. Like, you have to jump into another vehicle you don't like if you want to upgrade it and play for some time until it gets really good. Well, class-based, you can play any type of vehicles you want, for example, in the same class, and then you have lots of fun. It's just, Battlefield 4 seems like a lot of fun to me, but this is something pretty interesting. Have you seen the trailer, or do you have any idea when exactly it will drop? We all know in the beginning of May, but I'm honestly tired of checking the sub every day for potential info. Has been months for that, and honestly my hype is dying, and if your hype is dying right now, you're at the wrong time and place, my friend, because like the hype should be only going up. Like, the hype stocks are up. I have not seen the trailer. My sources also told me the DICE was looking at May, but keep in mind that this info is around 3 months old at best, so they could be changing that, maybe releasing it a bit earlier, a bit sooner. I feel like they have something planned out already, like something is going behind. But did your sources confirm that this will not be releasing on the old consoles? They didn't confirm or deny it, but he did say Tom was mostly correct, and this does add more credibility to Tom himself, so I guess it's not releasing on old consoles. And random, but have you heard by any small chance that we'll be able to crash land helicopters or jets? And a lot of people are really hoping that happens. I have not heard about that ability, so I can neither confirm nor deny it, but a lot of people are speculating that is actually gonna be happening. And I did see a leak before that mentioned this really, but still no confirmation to this. Hopefully we can crash land that, because it's kind of possible in Battlefield 4, but again, not really. And now it would be an amazing feature, which wasn't made before. We do have a bit more. What does the HUD look like? According to Tom, it has a blue tint. Does it look like Battlefield 3 with the layout of Battlefield 5? HUD looks like a mix of Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 5. The gadget selection menu is akin to Battlefield 4. Pretty much everything else is like Battlefield 5. I'm not aware of any tint, though doesn't mean that there is none. Huge thanks to the reply. I assume laser painting will be back too. Any words on the SUV USAV making a return? SUV USAV will probably not return, but there will be many other drone types to take their place. It does make sense. A lot of new drones, a lot of new robots coming in. Exactly what we have been hearing. Neat. So the same function, basically a reskin of source tanks. And yeah, basically our objective's gonna get the boxy look to it. I don't know. He doesn't know the specific details, and a lot of people were asking for specifics. He only heard some information. What nations will you be able to choose for Russia? My sources mentioned China and North Korea, though there is certainly more. And I don't know how to feel if this is true. North Korea is quite a controversial country. I mean, they could potentially add it, but I don't know how to feel about this. But China, again, they didn't want to add China because in Battlefield 4, China was actually banned. You know, China was banning Battlefield 4. I don't know. I'll just move on, but probably Iran, since they added a decent ally of Russia. Need a reason to hit those desert apps again. And yeah, it's definitely going to be Iran. It does make sense. I can't believe no one even asked. Why should we trust you? There's no reason for anyone to trust you, what you say at all. You have no logical reason to trust me or the info. All you have to is me saying trust me, and I won't pretend otherwise. And yeah, always, it's your decision if you're gonna trust them or not. There's no PC system requirements, so unfortunately I did not receive any word about them. A lot of new info though. Do you have any details regarding what kinds of vehicles? Planes with gunner passenger seats, essentially Battlefield 4 vehicle classes, perhaps one or two added in, but with much more than one vehicle per class faction. And this is something I really want to see. Advanced vehicles, advanced destruction, and so on. It's really exciting, and there is a lot more to that. You know, that means the MBT class would have a custom tank depending on nation driver. Basically, this means that the Abrams Leopard would be playable at the same time. They would have identical stats behind cosmetic differences, right? On the first part, no, any soldier can choose any tank. Secondly, the tanks you have listed would actually be different and would have different tech trees. So it's the Battlefield 1 system of here's a tank spawn, you can choose what tank it is. I hope it works out with that system. Yes, it's like that system, and I like that. I really like that, but we do have more about the weather. Are weather events constant in that they occur every round, or is it just a chance they'll happen? They occur every round, but size, intensity, and duration varies a lot, and this is huge good news because it actually adds a lot of credibility. It's really detailed. Like, all the leaks really do make a lot of sense. Overall, if we see different types of fires, you will probably want to play a lot more games than just a single bland evolution, right? Any confirmed maps returning at launch, a potential Siege of Shanghai spiritual successor. This is what a lot of people want to see. Also wouldn't discount another Metro and Wake Island, and these are some community maps that are simply perfect. Remaking maps or is much better than actually putting new maps, because it's a lot easier to make, so you can put more maps for the same time, if you get me. So Siege of Shanghai, Metro, and Wake Island can be made a lot faster because they already have the concept, and it definitely would make sense because it brings that beautiful classic nostalgia everyone wants. And there is a lot more to look into this. Also, a post came yesterday that the yesterday leak is fake, and this post is not true. Tom Henderson only said that this specific part is not true. For example, if you're new to stream, you could choose a US, Australian, British, French, Japanese, or German soldiers. This is not correct, and if you scroll down over here, actually people do point this out. To be fair, Tom didn't say in the hole was fake, didn't say it was fake at all. Actually, it seems that they just disagree with the Fallen Nation setup. Tom had no comment on anything else. Perhaps the leaker just misunderstood his source, and this definitely does make sense. If you get from multiple sources, or you get from another person tell you what's gonna be in the game, of course you can mess things up. Happens to everyone. It actually does have an attrition system over here, so we can see like 2 and a 5, which hinted at the 2nd of May, really. It really does make a lot of sense that potentially we're gonna be seeing repair stations, and could be that the other things he was talking about could be returning or be included as well. It makes a lot of sense, really. Why exactly he didn't deny the attrition system is because probably Tom Henderson drew it himself here. And as always, take all leaks with a grain of salt, and if you want more content like this, be sure to drop a comment and a like. I really appreciate you coming to this point, and we'll see you tomorrow, actually.